Joining me now is Great Lakes Justice Center Senior Counsel and founder of the Kallman Legal Group, David Kallman. Thanks so much for being with us today. It's great to have you.
Great to be on with you, Allison.
So, David, Michigan is looking to pass this hate speech bill that will restrict everyone's free speech. So anyone that says anything someone deems as offensive or triggering could ultimately be charged with a felony and face prison time along with paying a hefty fine. Is this not a complete and total violation of the First Amendment?
Of course it is. It's almost breathtaking in its scope.
Yeah.
You know, there are always exceptions and things to the First Amendment, like true threats, where somebody is actually going to commit violence or things like that. But this goes way beyond that. If somebody gets frightened because of something I say, somebody gets intimidated, somebody feels harassed. And do you see where the point of focus is? It's on the victim, not on the person committing the criminal act. It's on the victim and what they feel. And we just don't operate our criminal justice system that way. You could give the same speech, Allison, word for word, identical speech, and give it to a group of supporters at your local church, and everybody will applaud and go, wow, that's a great speech. And nobody feels offended, nobody feels frightened, and you have not violated the law. You go to a local gay rights rally, give the word for word same speech, and now all of a sudden you're going to be prosecuted for a felony because somebody in the audience was offended. Somebody felt frightened because of something you said. It's ridiculous. And given the Supreme Court's ruling yesterday in the Kallman versus Colorado case that clearly came down on our side on this issue, I think it's going to be a very hard sell for Michigan to continue with this law. In fact, we just got word just before coming on with you that the Michigan Senate has delayed the bill now. And we put out an issue brief with Great Lakes Justice Center yesterday, and it got to all the legislators, and they have delayed voting on this bill now into the fall. So this was on the fast track, was supposed to be passed today, and now it will not be.
Well, yes, this thing has to be stopped dead in its tracks. It's completely dangerous to our nation, and it's frightening that we even have to be having these discussions. If this were to pass, David, how could they even monitor hate speech? I mean, who would ultimately make these decisions, and how would they determine what constitutes as hate speech?
All really good questions. And I think the problem is that you would have government doing those things, or big tech, you know, groups like Facebook and others who would impose their own standards and then rat on people. You look at the UN and some of the information they're putting out on hate speech and their definition of a hate speech. What they say is if somebody is offended, well, you've got to be kidding me. That's the bedrock of the First Amendment, is somebody can be offended, and that's not any kind of violation. It's not a problem where you can get prosecuted. That's the whole point of speech. And if there's speech you don't agree with, the answer is always more speech. It's not attack your opponents, put them in prison, and charge them with bogus criminal charges.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And we all know that these people that are in favor of this type of bill would find fault with anything, right? They would say anything is hate speech. Anything that opposes their narrative or their agenda is hate speech. And they go online and they cry about it. And they can say whatever they want about us, right? But nothing ever happens to them. So it's just completely biased and one-sided. It's ridiculous. David, I have to know, what do you believe the ultimate goal is here? I mean, obviously they're trying to silence dissidents, as we see more and more people rising up against this tyrannical authoritarian regime and sort of takeover. But could something like this really come to fruition here in America if enough Democrats got behind it? I mean, they could ultimately turn on anyone, seemingly. So do you think this has a chance in the future of actually happening in America?
Well, I think in the areas that are Democrat controlled, like Michigan is now, yeah, you're going to see these kinds of bills that'll come through. And then the only line of defense at that point are attorneys and people willing to stand up and fight and go to court.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.